How's it?
Hi guys.
How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Good, good.
I always say if the sun is shining in Cape Town, it's a good day.
True that.
If it's not raining in Cape Town, it's a good day.
And it's not raining in East London for a change either, but we're not complaining because we needed the rain.
No, we haven't had in a while, hey?
Neither have we. So it's nice to see all the greenery coming back.
Yeah. No, that's Oaks and Joburg are whinging. I'm saying, okay, well, send some then, if you've got too much. How's it, Jared?
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, 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 good.
Bianca, the faceless one, how are you?
Hello, loving you.
All right, are you feeling better than last time we saw you?
Sorry, my screen is doing weird stuff here. Yes, much better, thank you.
Your screen's not as green as you think. It needs more rain. Awesome. I'm not sure how many we're expecting. I know Mel can't come.
Chantal's gonna be 5 to 10 minutes late. She's just finishing with the viewing for a property for a client.
Right. All good. So we'll give it another minute or so. Geez, I don't know about you guys, but I've been so busy, hey? I do not know if I'm coming or going at the moment.
James, please don't shout at me, but I will be honest with you. I did not do my homework this week. I tell you why.
You have put you in the naughty corner.
This rain, unfortunately, has kept us so busy. I'm not complaining about work, though, but I'm in the electrical industry, so unfortunately, it's just been a bit chaotic on my side.
Some of it's like rain. It's like I used to own video stores, DVD rental stores. And so school holidays and rain, like that was our best friend.
Sure.
And then the panel beaters used to love rain as well, but for different reasons.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't mind the rain, but yes, like it's just been keeping us busy. That's the main thing, I suppose.
All right. Okay, cool. You reckon we're about as full as we're gonna get, or should we just get going anyway?
Yeah, well, Chantal said she will be in about 5 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure we can start, or if you want to just wait.
Hi, afternoon, everyone.
How's it? How are you?
Good, and you? I
Good.
just got a message from Melanie. I'm not sure if you got it, James. She said she won't be able to make it. She's on the road, but if it's possible, if you can record the session and then email it to her. She definitely doesn't want to miss the session, and she'll work on it when she's back.
Okay, will do. Well, speaking of recording, let's hit the Zoom record button. Put that in the cloud.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. All right. Well, let me. No, that's not what we. Well, actually, let me give you some notes. Let's do that. That's a good idea to start with. So. The right week's notes, that'll be quite handy. There you go. All right, I'm just popping today's PDF into the chat for you guys if you want to just grab it quickly. Come on. Okay, there it goes. It's on its way. It's just uploading. There, then. So download that. Okay. So I'm going to move us off to a different screen. Yeah, I don't need that. Let's do a share. Okay, we go over there. All right, so let's dive in for today's show. Today's actually quite an easy one. It's not as hectic as the last couple have been. so today is just all about the visual stuff. There's a bit more to this than you might think. So you might be quite surprised, but we'll get into that in just a second. So just very quickly, let's just do a recap of what we did. So we said in the first week, we're going to pick our niche, and we spoke about a niche being a group of people with a specific set of characteristics that your particular product or service is ideal to fulfill. And we looked at it in different parts, and we said sort of the external stuff is stuff that we can see and we can measure and we can define. So things like the type of industry we're going to deal with. We were looking at the sort of description that the person has who we're reaching out to. So what is the job title? Are they an owner? Are they an employee, etc.? And then we spoke about some of the other demographics like company size. We were looking at what is the head count that they've got. We were looking at how long they've been in business, etc., etc. Then we said, let's look internally, and so let's find the skills that we have that sets us apart from everybody else. So what's our superpower within our own industry, right? So if we're up against 2 or 3 other people and we're competing, what is it that blows everybody else out of the water every single time? And then the last thing is we said, let's look at our existing clients. And the reason we were looking at existing clients is because they represent success. So not all of our clients, but the ones that we like, let's look at those and try to identify why they were successful, and then incorporate all of that information. And using all of this information, let's create the niche, right? So that group of people, let's define that group of people who are likely to buy our products and services. And then last week we spoke about this idea of, well, what's the big problem you solve? And we translated that into the magic message, right? Or the ideal client critical. And in LinkedIn parlance, this is essentially LinkedIn headline. So very, very important piece of information because it gets seen everywhere. And we use this formula just to get your creative juices going. There are, by the way, there are a number of ways to do this. This is just a really cool, interesting way. If you don't like this, you can chop and change, but start with this because it'll at least give you the raw materials. And so we like to ask a question because we know that the human mind cannot not answer a question. It has to, right? It's just the way that we're driven. It hates open loops. So we ask the question, and the question says, if I could give you, and then the first part of the equation is a result I know you 100% really want. And so the way that we come up with that is we look at, well, what are those problems that people have? Because there's always problems that they're prepared to pay money for to get solved. That's the problem we want to solve here. So we solve that problem. Hopefully we can do it in as short a time frame as possible. So if we add in a time frame, what we do is we allow people to make a return on investment decision, and we even have a chance to address an objection, right? So we can eliminate something that they don't want, or something that they absolutely hate, and we say, would you be interested? So in this example, I said, look, if I could give you, what does everybody want? Well, a minimum of 2 new clients every month from LinkedIn would be very nice, thank you. When? Well, I'll give it to you forever, or maybe within the next 3 to 4 months. Okay, but I don't want to pay for advertising, or I don't want to buy appointments. Okay, well, that's fine. Without having to pay for advertising or buying appointments, would you be interested? Okay, so this is where we at for today. And so obviously I want to find out from you guys what your magic message is before we move in today. So Jared's already chickened out. He's already nailed his colors to the mast and says he hasn't done it. So we're giving him marks for that. And we're very happy that he's busy. So we're a little bit of tongue in cheek there, but all good. Jared, you're not getting off scot-free. We're going to go to everybody else, and then you're going to give it a go. Just because you didn't do it doesn't mean you're not going to do it. All right. So Lisa, you are first on my screen. So you get to go first. So in fact, let me actually pull us back here so that I can hopefully get this in the recording. Okay. Actually, let's stop the share and do that. So tell us, what's your magic message? You will have to be off mute though, otherwise we will never hear you.
Sorry about that. So I had a few, but I'll just read one of them. If I could increase your brand awareness by creating and nurturing a digital community tailored to your business within 3 months, would you be interested?
Maybe. I'm hesitating because I'm a little confused. I don't really know what that means. Does it explain that?
So Another one, which is maybe simplified, it depends what kind of industry we're looking at. So this one is a little bit more on the tech side for people who know, but I did do a different one, maybe for people who might be, not on the digital side. So I said, if I could take away the hassle of deciding what to post on your business's social media channels to put your business's design and marketing on autopilot for 3 months, would you be interested?
No, that's very clear. There's no confusion. They know exactly what they're getting. That's a great message. Everything you need is in there. Yeah, nothing to add to that one. The first one might have been, again, if it's to a specific market and they understand, that's fine, because we don't really care about everybody. I'm in the marketing space and I wasn't quite sure, so I didn't know what you meant by community.
That one was more for the marketing managers. So that would be specifically if I was targeting people who have a company where there is a designated marketing person, because they would get it. Yeah, the other one is more for a general approach.
So for the rest of you, what Lisa's saying, like, really important, okay? So I was being a little critical because I didn't understand it, but guess what? I'm not a target market in that first one. So it actually doesn't matter. And there's a lot of truth in that. So in terms of what we're doing on LinkedIn, we're being very specific, right? So remember, in the first week, we defined that ideal client, or that niche, and we were saying that's that group of people that are quite likely to buy products and services. So guess what? That's the group of people we want to speak to. We don't care about all the other people if they don't understand. And when you speak the language that your target market uses, which is what she did there, right? So it doesn't matter that we don't get that, because we're not the target market. But if we were a marketing manager and we were in that space, that would be a completely different conversation. And it would be the same for all of you. So Jared, if you were using electrical terms because you're dealing with contractors, for example, and they understand that and other people don't, so what? Another person's going to look at your profile and say, oh, it's not for me, and they bounce off. And guess what? It's not for them. And you probably wouldn't have targeted them in the first place. So yeah, thanks, Lisa. Good messages. Bianca. Oh, I see those faces like, oh, darn it.
It is exactly that. Because me, like Jared, I have had a hectic week, but I will try.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
I'm just going to try. I'm going to be honest, as well, so hopefully I only lose one point here. Side of fines and penalties, let us take the stress out of the mess. Right, okay.
So yeah, I can see that you need to go back to the drawing board, and that's fine. But jokes aside, though, you're starting to get there, right? So what you've done at least is you've identified like one of the key pain points that you solve. So that was important that you picked that up. What you've got to do is you've got to give it a little bit more context, because like what fines and penalties are you talking about? Because I walked my dog and he made a poo and I didn't clean it up, or because I didn't, submit my tax returns. So a little bit more context. And again, when you guys are writing these messages, you want to think a lot about your ideal client, because everything you do is for them. We don't care about anybody else. They're not important in our lives. It's just on our LinkedIn profile, we want to be very, very specific. This is what we do. These are the people we help. If you're that people, good. If you're not that people, not so good. Then we don't need to speak. So you want to just be a little bit more specific there. So you got to think about the people that you're dealing with, right? The individuals. So okay, if you're dealing with with compliance type people, they'll have one job title. If you're dealing with smaller businesses, maybe you're dealing with the owner. You got to think through those things and then say, okay, what's the pain point, and is there a specific pain point? Because the other thing you want to think about here is that the message that you're writing, okay, essentially is the LinkedIn headline. Now, in a second, I'm going to show you when people get onto LinkedIn, they see a page and the eye can take in quite a lot of information. So we have very short attention spans today. So we've been trained to make a quick decision is, yeah, this is for me, or no, it's not. And so that message often is the key driver for them deciding, yeah, this is for me, or no, it's not. So either they're going to bounce or they're going to read the rest of your profile. So it really has to draw them in. The other thing is that's all it's got to do at this stage, right? It doesn't have to solve every single problem that you solve. It doesn't have to let people know about every single service that you've got and how you do it. That's not important. Your job is to get your foot in the door. It's got to be good enough for them to look at this and to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to accept this connection request because I see some potential value. That's its job right for now. So try to be a little bit more specific and just focus very specifically on your ideal client. Okay. Chantal.
Please excuse the chewing. I'm so hungry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Eat away. I'll
In
drink
real
and you
estate. In real estate. Okay, let's try this one. Okay. If I could give you a qualified buyer for your property within 3 months, give you constant feedback and not have the hassle of 10 different agents entering your property, would you be interested?
If you can get that into 220 characters, hell yes. So you might need ChatGPT to help you tweak a bit because I suspect you're just a bit over. But yes.
Okay, my writing
clear.
out is a lot less words.
So you ad-libbed, but good. Yeah.
I was abbreviating there. Yeah.
So that's exactly right? If you're dealing with a seller because you need stock, so they're more your client than the buyer, technically.
Yes.
Yeah, what does they want? I want this damn sale to go through chop and at the price I listed it at. So you handle that. And you don't worry, there won't be hassles. I'll do it all. It'll just happen. Yeah, okay, that's quite cool.
And
Like,
use me, not 10 other agents.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say. So yeah, I think you nailed the brief pretty well. So in all honesty, guys, we do need to get this into 220 characters. So if you find, and this goes for pretty much anything you write nowadays, if you find you're battling a bit, seriously, just go to ChatGPT, put it in and say to ChatGPT, here's the formula. So what you do is you take the formula that I gave you. You could even take my example. So you say, here's the formula, here's an example, here's my stuff, and you can dump whatever the hell you want in there. And then you say to ChatGPT, okay, now write me one with my stuff or relating to my stuff using that formula and that example above. And it will give you something generally quite good. You might have to reprompt it if you don't like one or two things, but ChatGPT is a fantastic tool nowadays. So when you're using these tools, you need to feed it the right information, right? So ChatGPT is not like the cure-all for everything. Like you can't just, I mean, you can ask it and it'll give you an answer, but if you prompt it with the right information and that information relates to you, it will give you back great information that relates to you. And I hate to say this, but it writes better than most of us, me included. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Noktula. I think she's making coffee. Noktula, are you making coffee? Are you there? Lisa, do I need to pick on you, or are you technically done?
No, you can pick on me.
Okay, go.
Okay. If I could make sure your business puts its best foot forward by ensuring your graphic design and marketing is on point within 3-month period, would you be interested?
I see what you're trying to do, and kind of you are, but there's a little bit of a disconnect. Like, what's that 3 months period? It doesn't speak to the promise. It doesn't make perfect sense if that makes sense. Well, to me anyway, I'm battling with that. So here's
to overall your business look.
No, like that part is fine. So I think your value prop is fine. The linking the 3 months, I'm not quite sure what I'm getting. So let me double back for a second. And again, just a learning for everybody. When you're writing, those messages, the result, in other words, the big problem that you solve, when you're speaking to people, you want to solve the problem in a way that they understand. Okay. So yeah. Just saying I solve this problem doesn't mean anything. Let me give you a really good example. When I was doing similar exercises when I started. One of the big problems that came up when I was dealing with accountants is they said to me, we want to spend less time at the office. Okay, that was one of the big things. Now, you guys know, particularly the marketers amongst us, that it's become very cliched. Hey, use our product or service and we'll save you time so that you can go and spend it with your friends and family. Right? That's the typical line. And it's right. But it's become a little bit cliched. So I found this quite interesting. So I went back to my accountants and I quizzed them. I said, okay, so I'm going to give you these hours, mate. What would you do with the hours? Thinking they would say, I'll spend it with my family and friends. That's not what they said. What most accountants, 8 out of 10 of them said was, oh, we'll put it back in the business. I said, huh? What do you mean you put it back in the business? No, because if I do that, then it's more productive time. I can build for it and I can, spend more time with my clients. So now when I write that, right, and I'm writing a message, and I say, hey, use this fantastic system and it will save you up to 5 hours a week. I don't say that you can spend it with your friends and family. I say so that you can add more productive time to your business, which will increase the bottom line and you can satisfy more clients. I've been very specific and I've spoken to the reason that they want that problem solved. So again, it comes down to very specific. When you're speaking to your niche and you've identified that, and then you can take the problem and you can relate it specifically to them. So the what problem do you solve? That issue is how do you solve it in a way that makes sense to them? That's a really good way to define it, or refine it, I should say.
Okay. The 3-month period for us is our initial contract period with retainers. And it's basically like, this is just to rebrand your stuff to make you more professional at the end of the day.
Just read your message again. Now that
if I could make sure your business puts its best foot forward by ensuring your graphic design and marketing is on point within a 3-month period, would you be interested?
Why don't you say what you said to me just now? When you was like, it's a 3-month period, that's to get them looking fabulous, and it takes 3 months. So like I didn't. That's not that clear in the message. You just need to tweak it a bit because you're there. I'm being uber critical now because I'm playing prospect. I'm just saying I don't quite get that, and that's funny. And I've had quite a few of these conversations because I've got another group before you, and then people struggle with it because now I grant that I've given you a formula and you're trying to fit it in and we're playing with it. And then there's a struggle. And then I say, what do you mean? And they tell me, and I said, then write that. And often that's the answer. Sometimes it really is just as simple as like, in 3 months, we're going to make you look awesome. That could actually be it, obviously adding in the graphics, etc. But you're very close. It's just, and thanks for the learning. I think that probably helped everybody else as well.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. Esther.
Hello. Okay. My one was, if I could take away the stress of dealing with SARS within a month while helping you keep your business compliant, would you be interested?
Read that again.
If I could take away the stress of dealing with SARS within a month while keeping your business compliant, would you be interested?
Trying to work out if there's a little bit of repetition in there.
Because my challenge was, I'll be honest, James, was the second part, because what is the pain is similar to the problem that I'm fixing. So I didn't want to say the same thing again there. If I could take the stress away of that's one of the pain points, and them keeping their business compliant is also one of the pain points. So yeah, I was just a bit confused as to what to put in the end.
Sometimes you can add more than one pain point.
Okay.
It doesn't only have to be one. I mean, if there are a couple of very specific ones, so it's like you're dealing with two issues there. The one is we'll keep you compliant. The implication is so that SARS doesn't kick your ass, and the other one is, but you're saying, but you don't even have to deal with SARS because we'll do it for you. So again, it's like just say that.
Okay.
Hey, if I could keep you compliant because I deal with SARS, so you don't have to.
Within a month, would you be interested? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I hear you. Okay.
You know, and the time period, sometimes for some of you, if you look at the time period and you'll say, don't know, it doesn't make sense. There are a few people where it just like you're trying to cram it in because I gave you a formula. But if it doesn't make sense, then it's like, okay, don't do it. You know.
Okay, okay, okay.
So if it makes sense, use it. If it doesn't, nah. So what?
Okay.
You might want to you might want to add in a bit for the objection thing though. You know, without what is it that they hate, or you know, so that you can sleep well at night, or you know, without paying exorbitant accounting fees, or something like that. So you always gotta say so you make a proposition to somebody. This is how it works, right? Anytime you make a proposition, the person says, is it worth it? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
That's the first question. If it's worth it, then they're going to contemplate it and they say, yeah, maybe, and then the objection starts because the oak in the ear starts. Yeah, but, and you got to get over the but. Now, if you can anticipate an objection, you can kill it right there. Then it's good. Yeah, okay, I want that, but I'm not at any cost, or I don't want to pay more. Or,
yes,
you know,
yes. I thought of that. I thought of that, but I sort of left it out. So maybe I should include that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it strong. It's an opportunity because your messages become short now, so you got space.
Okay, I hear you.
So go ahead and use it. All right. Well. Oh, Jared, almost forgot. You almost got away with it.
No. It's okay. I have come up with something that is a little bit quicker, but I don't quite know if it's 200 words. Might just be a little bit less.
The less is fine. There's more is your problem.
Tired of being left in the dark. Don't know how to fix the problem. Give us the professionals a call. Let us get you back to light.
Too clever. Okay. Too clever in the sense that, again, think of the context. Somebody's come to a LinkedIn profile. They need to know very quickly if they're in the right place. Okay. And so, again, when I come there, it's only right at the end when you mentioned light, and I'm still not quite sure what you're saying. So it's too clever. Like, just be very direct. You know, this is what we do. That's what we do it for. You can ask the question, hey, if we do this, that's fine. But you need to be a little bit more specific. Clever in your headlines, not always the best thing. The only people that get away with that are the marketers, because they're on a different planet to the rest of us, right? No one understands them anyway. But for the rest of us, we want just be direct. All right, cool. All right, well, you're on the right track. Just make a few tweaks. Cool. All right, guys, let me just see. Can we share LinkedIn profile links? Yes, of course you can. In fact, we'll do that. I should probably do that and put something together for everybody. We'll do that. We'll put a whole, and in fact, at some point I should probably we'll do maybe one session. We'll just bring the two groups together. Because you guys are doing something specific, so you might as well get exposure to other people, because a lot of that other group is very financially and legally orientated, although there are quite a number of different people. So maybe that'll be a cool thing. We can expand all of the networks at once. So yeah, you certainly can. All right, let's do some sharing here. Okay, off there. So what I want to talk to you about today, and I might have mentioned this on the very first section. When you're looking at a LinkedIn profile, there's really typically 5 key sections, right? That people can deal with. So the first key section that we need to fill in is the banner, because when people get to your profile, that's the first thing they see. The eyes generally going to be drawn towards the banner, and so you've got real opportunity here to do some stuff. And we're going to go into the banner in great detail in a minute. But the key thing that you've got to do is remember that you've literally got a second, okay, for people to see what they're seeing on the left-hand side here, and then they're going to make a decision, stick or twist. You need them to stay and to read the rest of the profile. So this banner is a very, very important piece. Your profile picture, again, important. We'll talk more about that in a second. The magic message, which we've just spoken about. So this here, together with your profile pic, those two things follow you everywhere. you're on LinkedIn, they are everywhere, right? They're in the search, they're in the posts, they're in the messaging, anywhere where you appear, your profile picture followed by at least the first 90 characters anyway, depending on which device you're using. So that's important. Then we've got the about section, which is a little bit like your sales page in a sense. We can spend a few sessions on that starting next week. And then the last is just the experience section to pull it together. You'll be amazed at what you should be putting in there, which most people are not. This is the money section, believe it or not. So looking at this, right, what I want to talk to you about now is this profile, this banner, I mean. So when you go to LinkedIn, LinkedIn creates this. So this is the placeholder that you're going to see. So if you do not have a profile picture, you see that. If you don't have a banner, you see this, right? It's a wasted opportunity when you get there and you're looking at that. So when people get there, as you can see, this is the one opportunity we have to differentiate ourselves. LinkedIn doesn't give us too many opportunities because it's created this template thing and we all fill it out in our own way. But the banner is the one thing that as soon as somebody gets to your profile, it speaks to them. Also, it's the first thing that people see, right? So when you are able to take it and to visually enhance it, a lot of people are going to make the decision based more on what they see. They're going to remember more about what they see than what they read or what they hear even. So this becomes very important from a visual perspective, right? And also for me, the key thing, because we've got such a short attention span for them to make that decision, we need to orientate them, right? Say to them, you are in the right place. You in fact need to scroll down the rest of this profile. And frankly, if it's not the right place for them, this is also the ideal time for them to just bounce off. Because as you'll see a little bit later on, you don't want to get into conversation and maybe start courting people that really are not ideal clients for you. Because all that's going to happen is you're going to end up wasting your time and theirs. Talking about this, when we look at the banner, the reality is, right, this banner actually has two parts to it, okay? So the two parts to this banner are what I like to call the underlying image, and then we get to put some stuff or complementary elements on top, okay, to literally display any message that we want displayed. So let's talk a little bit about this. Now, what I like to do, there's kind of two options when you're using the underlying image. The first is to reflect what you do, okay? So I bet you will never guess that CNO Proctor is an astronaut. Yes, you will never guess that from a profile picture. So if you start to read, okay, I don't understand any of this because that's like astronaut speak, right? That's NASA shit. Okay, I don't know what that is, but if you're an astronaut, I bet you would know what all that is. But it's very clear in terms of what she does, right? Have a guess what Kimberly does. Okay. Oh, she's a lead photographer. Okay, so the image is really good. It tells you immediately, you know, what the person does, and I'm quite a big fan of this. If your business works for that type of thing, this dude. He's actually quite an interesting guy, but be that as it may, you can see here, if we just read his headline, he says, look, harnessing the power of JavaScript, blah, blah, blah. So if you have a look at this, what he's done is he's taken the tools of his work and he's displayed that. So he's given you an image of what he does, but in a slightly more interesting way, right? Sticking with this guy, if we just get to the next slide, you'll see that it's subtly changed, and this now says color. So what I mean by color is he has a colored background, right? And then he's got stuff on top that represents what he's trying to do. Let's look at some different examples. It's quite nice when you're using color not to just have a plain colored background, but you know, you can have something that's a bit beveled or mottled or as a bit of a gradient, right? We do have some people on this call that can help you guys. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let them worry about this. You just tell them what to put on it, let them create you an awesome banner. So let's now start talking about the complementary elements, right? So we've spoken about the two possibilities. We've got an underlying image reflecting what you do or something that's a little bit more plain. And now you get to start to build this up with whatever suits you. I'm a really, really big fan of this. And this is that idea of letting them know they're in the right place. So put some text on your banner. It just makes life really, really easy when you do that. And it's got this little formula that says the what specialist to the which industry. So it's like, okay, this is what I do. That's who I do it for. Okay, really, really simple. So let's have a look at an example. And you can see here the what specialist, sort of going back to some of the stuff we did before. That's the problem we solve, and that's who we solve it for. So the two things we've done up until now, we take those two ideas and we combine them. So you could be a sales training specialist to the medical professional, a tech specialist to the motor industry, right? Or a electrical specialist to the construction industry, whatever that happens to be for you. So if you look at my profile, let's look at what we've done. So the underlying image is, you can see the background that I used. The history with this used to be blue because I used to have blueprints, and then we changed the branding and blue became gray. So I guess this is a gray print. It's not the most exciting, but I'm using it forever and people know me with it. So I keep it. So it is a little bit more interesting than just a plain color. And you can see we've sort of gone sort of with a gradient. So it's darker on the left and it becomes a bit lighter. So the reason I've done that is because what I do is not quite so simple to reflect, but now what I'm able to do is I'm able to put some stuff on top. So you'll see what I'm doing is I'm putting an image of, there's a little bit of a system. It's one of my best selling books. And here I'm calling out, right, my market. So again, I'm dealing with a problem, client generation specialist for who? For accountants and financial advisors. It's very simple. It's straightforward. There's no real confusion. So if you come to this profile and you are not an accountant or a financial advisor, you should probably move on. And if you come to this profile and you are an accountant or a financial advisor and you're not really interested in getting clients, you should move on also. Okay, very, very clear in terms of what we're doing here. And then just the last element, I've probably overdone the branding a little bit over here. Typically, I'd make that a little bit smaller. But hopefully you're starting to get the idea. So what are some of the other complementary elements that you can put on? So we saw the company logo, and you should all do that, right? Because what you're going to find is that when people get onto LinkedIn and they start looking at your profile, right, they tend to travel through from your profile. Eventually, they're going to end up at your website if you've got one. So when they get to your website, they mustn't be confused and say, "Yes, is am I on the website for that person from the profile?" Like everything must look the same. So use the same colors, the same fonts, the same logos, the same everything. Right? Contact details if it makes sense. So for some of us, really, like fastest finger first. If you're looking, if your business is that way inclined, that somebody's just looking and they see a thing and they're going to dial and that's it. If that's your business, then put contact details. If not, don't worry, because there's other places on your profile for there to be contact details. So that's not always something that you'll use, but it's an option. Call to action. So anytime you do anything in marketing, right, you don't do it just because you thought it was a good idea and you had nothing else to do today. You did it because you want somebody to do something. Okay? That something is an action. So you need to call those people to that action that you want them to do. Now, even as marketers, we sometimes forget, right? Because we know in our heads what that action is. And we forget to tell other people what the action is. So if you want them to do something specific, like join a group, download your ebook, book a meeting, join your webinar, you need to tell them, or check out my YouTube channel. Whatever it is, just let them know if you feel that a call to action is appropriate for your profile. And then of course you can do other images. So I showed you that example of mine. I had a copy of the book and a little bit of my proprietary system, right? That's on there. So those are the sorts of ideas for complementary elements. So let's give you some examples. So these are some of the best in the business that do this sort of thing. So we've got old Skoden over here, who obviously is an author, and these are his books. So what he's done really cleverly is that obviously each little book title are the problems that he solves, right? So we can see he's solving the problem. This is kind of the formula, if you like, that he's used. And he's got authority because, hey, dude, I've published 1 million books. You should listen to me. That's kind of what he's saying without saying it. So you look at this and wow, that's impressive. And in fact, tell me that you guys didn't stop and start reading all the titles to see what the titles of these books are as I'm talking. So you only heard half of what I was saying. So this is a really good example, right, of how he does it. Here we've got Laurent Grossman. So he solves a problem, and his niche is real estate. He tells you straight out, hey, real estate broker. There's no confusion. Who is he broke for? He's an investment expert, right? So in real estate, investors have different problems to people who need to buy a house to live. Okay, so he's very clear. There's no confusion. You look at the imagery he's got. It's very high end, and he's in a suit. Okay, so everything about this profile is very congruent, like you know who this dude is. Then we've got Neil Patel, so the marketing folk know him. Very well renowned in the marketing industry. So at this particular point in time anyway, because he changes this all the time, he was dealing with the problem of, do you want more traffic to your website, right? So again, he didn't say, do you need more traffic to your website? Because marketers know what that means. And that's the problem. And then he does the method. Okay, I can do that for you doing all these things. Talk to me. Okay, that's Neil Patel. This is actually one of my favorites. So Austin Belchek, he deals with finding people jobs, right? So he knows that people hate it when they're trying to find a job and you got to send your CV in, and like there's a million and one issues. People like hate that. So he says, look, ready to land your dream job without applying online, right? So he's telling you what the problem is, very, very clear. And then here's his niche. So it's basically people are looking for a job. That's his niche. And then he tells you, yeah, so he's done a call to action, right? Hit the link below to learn more about how we help people like you land amazing jobs. And then you go there. So obviously you can't click on this. It's not really it's not a clickable link, but anybody that is interested is going to go type it in. So very, very clear in terms of the call to action. So hopefully you guys are starting to see that. Don't just chuck any old shitty banner together. Like really think this through, because this can do so much for you when people get there. You create the right impression. They know exactly what's in it for them, and boom, they get there. So in terms of creating, we have obviously a couple of ways to do that. Obviously, you can outsource it or do it yourself for those of you that are Canva people, but I'm sure we can look in-house. So our marketing people, can you help us with banners? This is where one of you says yes.
Yeah, we do all this professionally for clients. So we have a number of clients and stuff we do all this for. So yeah, it is part of our portfolio. Okay, so what I would suggest for those of you that are graphically challenged, and to be fair, that's probably most of us, myself included. It's a little trickier to create a banner than you might think. Legitimately, I'm not just talking Lisha up here, but it really is. Like it's a skill to be able to design. And even if you go onto Canva, you know, you often don't find the right image, and then you're trying to change things. It's quite something. Honestly, my best advice to you is you do the exercise, which is coming now, and then you give the information to Lisha and you say, please make me a banner. Okay. Or you can do it one of these ways, but that genuinely is my best advice to you. Just go ahead and do that. So speaking of that, here's technically your homework, right? So you can see we've just given you those two examples. So you can either have the underlying image being reflective of what you do, or picking something from a colored perspective. There's the banner size. If you give it to Lisha, you don't have to worry about that. And then also when you are designing, if you are designing yourself, please remember, as you see over here, a picture is going to appear over this piece of the image. So like don't put something here that's important for people to see when you're designing it. Because it sounds simple, but a lot of people cock that up. You'll be surprised. So this is what we're going to do. So the first question is, what image, right, can you use to reflect the nature of your business? So you're going to do one or the other. If there is something, just brainstorm some stuff that you think might be a good idea. Next thing is, if you prefer a plain colored background, okay, what are your corporate colors? And look at your website, okay? Just make everything nice and congruent. Alternatively, if you don't have one, it's like, okay, what colors do you like? Just do something like that. So then again, you decide it's going to be one of these two approaches, right? And then who's going to do it for you, or how are you going to do it? Okay, this is going to be Lisha. This is going to be you yourself, because you're the Canva expert, or you're going to do some other method. I'll go the Lisha route, as I say. I promise you, you'll be happy if you follow that advice. I speak from great experience. Then the next thing is, let's start to look at what elements are you going to put onto your banner.
For most of us, it's kind of simple, right? Most people is like, I would say just have that image and then just have this let them know that they're in the right place. And there's different ways that you can do this, right? That generally tends to work well, but of course you can consider some of these other complementary elements. And again, just some of those examples. So let them know they're in the right place. So you want to basically talk about that. So let them know they're in the right place by putting text on the banner. Use the what specialist, the which industry formula. Okay, so you would complete that over there, whatever the text is that you wanted, and then decide if you want any of these complementary elements. The answer might be no. Well, then you're done. Okay, just think this through, and be congruent. So think about the whole experience that people are having. When they get to your profile, this is visually it. They get it. Okay, that's what I do. If you crack that, then this is extraordinarily powerful at the end of the day. Okay, then see how we're doing for time. We're doing well. Okay, so next thing that I want to talk about is your profile picture. Profile picture is not a big deal generally, okay? But it's one of those things that you need to have a good profile picture, because if you have a poor one, this is where people judge you. So you want to definitely make sure that you have a good profile picture. So there's some stuff we don't want to do in our profile picture. So like not have one, for example. Obviously that's the big sin that you can commit. But there's others, right? You see this sort of thing a lot of the time. And this is where somebody does one of two things, right? Either they're at a party and like they're on their phone and they say, I need a photo. Okay, this one, I'll crop this out, right? And then you can see like there's other stuff going on. Like, dude, this is your window to the world. This is your window to the professional world. Like, do not do that. And then like this year, this also often happens is like, oh, I'm getting married. I've just had a kid. I've got a new puppy. And you want to show that to the world. Yes, show that to the world, but not in your profile picture, right? This is your professional outlook to the world. So that's not what needs to go here. Oh, these examples, where do I start? So this guy, he puts a magazine cover. I'm going to assume he's the dude on the cover, right? Because otherwise, why would you do such a stupid thing? But I still don't really know who he is. Okay, maybe he's building a bit of authority, but that's not really speaking to me, because today in the world of AI, that could be anything. I don't see who you are, mister. This guy even lazier, just has a business card. Really? No. Okay. This, I have no idea. I don't know what that is, but okay. So you can see these are all terrible photos. They're not doing you any justice in terms of people getting to know you. This guy here, you can see this is a problem because he's trying to use up all the real estate, which is good, but he's cutting himself off. So you've lost a lot of the effect of who he is. You definitely don't want to do that. And then this work, shame. He spent a lot of money having professional photos taken, and great, but look at the photographer. They've left this nonsense in the background, really. And then I can't see who he is. I can't see facial expression. I don't know who this dude is. It's like, why bother? You could have just done anything. So no, we're not doing that either. And these photos are also terrible. That lighting's awful. Again, can't see him. And then can't see the face. Again, lighting, shades. Like, and one of the reasons I'm telling you this, right, is because at some point you're going to go into LinkedIn and you're going to start looking at other profiles. And when you see this, you're going to say, yeah, James told me about that. I remember. And the reality is that when you see this, it's kind of giving you an indication that the people who've got this stuff on their profiles, or a lot of it, probably are not active on LinkedIn. They're not the best people for you to actually reach out to. So quite important, but you want to like really avoid those things. So if you're going to avoid those things, what do you want to do? Well, the first thing is to try to have a more recent headshot. So you'll see on my profile, I do have a more recent headshot. This is an older one that I'm showing you. And I think this piece is very, very important, right? Is to authentically echo who you are. And particularly nowadays with the advent of AI, it's phenomenal what's going on. You really want people to be able to determine that you're a real person. And when I say authentically echo who you are, it's who you are as your clients view you. So for example, you want to dress appropriately. So what does that mean? That means dress like you dress when you speak to clients. So the way that clients perceive you and see you every day, that's how you dress. So if like the real estate guy from before, you're a suit and tie kind of person, then you must wear a suit and tie in your photo like he did. If you're an athlete, you can have a tracksuit. That's fine. Okay. Not a scruffy, dirty one, because it's a window to the world, but you can have one. All right. The rest of us just probably smart casual. That's the world today. Just dress like that. Okay. Next thing is, again, if you can afford it, have the photo taken professionally. It's not as important as it used to be, because like, you know, today cameras on phones are quite good, but professional photographers are professional for a reason, and they do two things better than the rest of us. Number one, they get the posing right. So if you go for a photo shoot, they won't only take one photo, they'll take 100 photos, right? And you'll have a bunch of photos in probably with different clothes on and in different facial expressions, and you can have your arms in different places. So you'd come out with like almost a portfolio of stuff that you can use. And somewhere in there, you're going to find a couple of photos that just like are really brilliant. Right? That's the first thing. And the other thing is they know how to use lighting properly. So you'll find that they really put you in the best light, and some of them will even take it a step further, and they'll use Photoshop to really make you look your very, very best, right? So definitely something that you should consider if you can afford it. Not necessary, but worth the money if you can. You want to have a clear background, so if you ignore all of this nonsense on the right-hand side, and you look at the left-hand side, you can see. So if I didn't put this on, you would see that it's a clear white background. Doesn't matter what the color is. You'll see people are now starting to use corporate colors. They're trying to stand out, which is fine. But you don't want to have something that's clashing with your face. All right. So again, not outside in the garden or at a party or something, because it's really key for people to be able to see your face, to see the expression. Right? And when I talk about that, other than taking up all the real estate, just smile. It's like you will see, you will laugh when you start looking at profiles. You'll remember this particular session. But it's amazing how many people, when you look at the profile, you think, wow, they almost look unapproachable, or that doesn't look like a really friendly person. And sometimes you'll see a really nice image, and your eye will actually go there, and you'll think, wow, like what a nice engaging picture. And if you're in the market for that sort of thing, there's every chance you're gonna accept that connection request. Okay, so this is kind of important. Again, this is one of those things that if you have a bad photo, it harms you because people judge. If you have a good picture, then people just accept it. But a good image can really do wonders for you. So again, this is kind of the homework. Nothing really to fill in, but here's just a summary of all the stuff that I said. If your profile picture is not up to scratch, either upload a new one. All right. And again, when we were talking about as you can see, saying using all the real estate, it's essentially a headshot. Okay. So use as much as you can. And of course, when you upload the photo, you can zoom in and out, which is quite nice. So try to upload a decent photo with decent resolution when you do. So you need to go and get yourselves a new photo, and I think that does it for the day. Okay, so let me pull everybody back. Let me just one more time, because I know we had a couple of people that joined a little bit later. I'm just going to re-upload very quickly. I'm just re-uploading the download. So for those of you that missed it and need the download, there it is. Okay. Cool.
Why is the homework so many more pages this time?
It's not really. What I've decided to what I've decided to do with it is that when I give it to you, I'm just incorporating the notes as well as the homework. Because at the end, then you can, if you need to put a binder or it's digital, you'll actually have everything. So the first few sessions I didn't, and then I just gave you the homework. I thought that's a bit silly. So I'm just combining everything. So it's long because it's got all of those images that I showed you just for reference. So at the end, you've almost got the whole blueprint printed out, bit by bit. So that's why. What I might try and do, I did it for the other group, so I'll try and duplicate it for you guys. I might only do it on the weekend though, because I'm horrendously busy at the moment. But I've created a website, and then every week I will record these sessions. I'll upload them onto the website and the downloads. So if you guys have missed something or there's an issue, you can always pick it up, or you want to go back and watch something. So I'll pop that there. And like it'll be on YouTube, so like you can scroll the controls and stuff if you just need to get to a specific point, you want to go over something. So all right, well that is it. Virgil, how's it? I didn't even see you snuck in there. I was busy and I had you on the other screen. Glad to see you here. Are there any questions from anybody?
No, nothing on my side yet. As I say, I'm busy playing around on.
Now you're gone.
Yeah, you gone.
Let's try this again. All right, nothing on my side, but I am busy playing around on LinkedIn. I've sent you a request, so you can judge me on that.
Yeah, but that's actually a very good point. If I'm not connected to you guys, yeah, please send me a connection request and let me accept that. It's sort of off the point, and I will make sure to accept that. All right. Otherwise, we will see you same time, same place next week. All right, go fetch kids, and
I'll make sure I do my homework.
Jared and Bianca, you start off in the naughty corner next week. See if you can get yourself out. All right, guys, have a good one. Catch up with you later. You're welcome.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye, everyone. Cheers.
Time for wine.